Good morning. I hope you have your cup of coffee, tea, or water, or whatever the hell it is that you want to drink this morning as you sit here and have a little Saturday morning conversation with me. First thing, I published the open letter on Wednesday, and I got a lot of really good responses and feedback about that. And I think I'm really proud of it. It's a short 5 minutes reading of an open letter I wrote to my 9 years of my fraternity experience, and I wanted to, in one part, follow that up because I have a healthy amount of international audience on here. And so I wanted to explain what a fraternity actually even is to this international audience, especially an undergraduate fraternity. So imagine anywhere between 20, 30, up to 100 in like the geographically deep south of the U.S. And eastern coast. They have up to about 100 members on this. But imagine up to 100 people, 18 to 22-year-olds, living, all male, living in the same house together. That's the basis of the fraternity. And then you have, from there, you tell everyone in there that they're special because they're a member of that fraternity. And then you tell them that they need to go do community service. They need to go do. They need to be better in academics than all of their peers, and they need to, it's their responsibility to bring in, two people for them leaving. So they're recruiting more than what they leave, and that would be an undergraduate fraternity, just a group of men who come in, pledge their allegiance to a shared oath or values or beliefs, and the thing is that each of these fraternities also have their own mythology behind them, their own history of why they were formed, the purpose they serve, why they are important for joining that organization. They have their own symbols, language, secret questions. They have some of them have special like code words or like words that can be said in public to identify other members. Secret door knocks and all these things what to a degree it's what makes up that fraternity. I think most people would argue what makes up the fraternity is the brotherhood and the friendship that the members share between each other, but I would argue it's so much more than that. And so I hope that accurately, maybe not accurate, I hope that kind of helps explain what a fraternity is to an international audience. Because, that's what it is. And I know that every time I've ever spoken about fraternity with anyone from outside the U.S., even Canada, and Canada actually has a few fraternities, but the American fraternity system does not exist outside of North America. In fact, does not exist even outside the U.S. and to that extent, some like southern Canada. It doesn't. It's not in Mexico. It's it doesn't exist in South America. It doesn't exist, especially in Europe. So I just thought, because I was hitting an international audience with that episode, that maybe I should say something in this follow-up episode about it. Anyways, I'm officially no longer the ACB president for my chapter, and to explain what that was, also I'm responsible for in that role, you're responsible for the financial and operational oversight and managing the house for the undergraduates. And it's a very exhausting role, especially when you do it by yourself like I had to. It's really tough to pull some of those punches and to take the frustrations of everyone and try to channel that into growth. It's not something that I think I've learned a lot of lessons from it. Especially because I only graduated in 2019, so I'm I was 3 years out the gate when I stood up and said I'll be the next ACB president. And I'm glad I did it because I instituted a lot of really positive changes. And I think I dragged people forward. But I think that anyone looking to join the board, not just be the president, but join that board, needs to be much more than 3 years graduated from the fraternity to actually be prepared to deal with it and be prepared to just be prepared for it. I guess I should have prepared this point more. It's just I'm trying to go off the cuff here on this one. It's something I didn't want with that episode was to air out dirty laundry or to drag anyone in particular or the organization through the mud and talk bad about them, but I needed to be honest about my experience and what I had seen, and I think I accomplished that. But it was really hard to do at some points of knowing that, of balancing that honesty and a reflection on my personal experience while still being objective. And based on what everyone's saying, it seems like I hit that pretty well. So I think ultimately I'm extremely proud, and I've written and rewritten this letter maybe 7 or 8 times in the last 14 months as I've looked forward to this day. So more than half of my presidency, I've had this letter ready to go. But at first it started off as like this like anger and just like, like this is bullshit. How could it be treated like this? And then I realized like that just isn't something that helps, or it's just me airing out dirty laundry, and what good is that? And so I decided it would be better if I wrote something like what I have now, of being more objective and not being so just negative in my letter. And so I think that's all I'm going to say on this, because I don't think I need to hash this letter out anymore. I think I'm ready to move on. I think I'm looking forward to change, and I'm good to be done with this letter. On a lighter note, I would like to talk to you about a game called Harry Potter Puzzles and Spells. This game has been my obsession for, I don't know, a very long time. Now, I got this mobile game when it first came out. Played it a couple hundred levels and never touched it again. Like I do with every mobile game in my entire life. I've never been able to play a mobile game longer than like a month. And then I picked this game back up, I think maybe a year ago. Maybe less than that. And I haven't been able to put it down. And I am saying this meaning that I literally will take every opportunity I have to play this game. Bathroom. I'm not watching TikTok. I'm playing Harry Potter puzzles and spells. Walking home or walking to work, I'm playing Harry Potter puzzles and spells. My dog taking, going number 2, playing Harry Potter puzzles and spells. Every opportunity I have that I can to play this game, you will find me playing this game. I love it. And imagine, if you will, it's Candy Crush, but with Harry Potter. That's what this game is. And I wanted to bring this up, not just because I'm like, dang, look at this game that's finally captured my attention longer than any other game. But I got a notification, and I've gotten it twice now in the last 3 weeks, of being rank 1. And it doesn't tell me what it is. It just says, rank 1, you ranked in the top 10 competitors, claim your reward. And there's a reward. And I don't know if it's saying that I ranked first in the weekly tournaments, if I ranked first in Slytherin for the week, or the server. I don't know what I'm ranking first in. It doesn't tell me. And I don't know. I wish I knew what I'm ranking first in, so I could just know just how much I actually need to like slow down on this game. I think it's got to be weekly, and I think it might just be overall ranked first of people who have finished the main series of puzzles, which is you're playing through all the chapters of the books of the Harry Potter series, playing these puzzles, and you occasionally like get a couple of dialogue cutscene from some of the characters explaining what part of the book you're in. And then once you've beaten everything that's been released, which is 6,000, I want to say. Let's see. There's currently 6,686 main player missions over, and I've beat all of those. And then beyond that, you do what's called Legends puzzles, and I think that's where I'm ranking first in, is everyone who's beaten everything and is now doing what's called Legends puzzles. And I'm obsessed with this game, and it's like your grandma, who was like a housewife her entire life, and then she got a smartphone, and then she found Candy Crush on a Facebook ad, and she downloaded it. And then every time you go to visit grandma, hoping for like a home cooked meal, you get like McDonald's or like a frozen hamburger, because all she does is play Candy Crush. That's me. That's where I'm at with this game. I can't stop playing it. I love it to death. I do at minimum, I am doing 120 to 150 levels per week. And I know that there was one day where I did 60 levels in a single day. And that was definitely the highest or the most that I could have ever done. But looking at my stats, it's a lot. And maybe I play this game a little too much, but I don't know why I'm so addicted to it. And one part, it's Harry Potter, and I've talked on this show before, I think during the childhood episode, about how much Harry Potter means to me and why it's important. So I think if it was any other theme, I don't think I would be able to get sucked into it as much as I am. But I think we just stumbled on magic. Oh God, pun not intended. With this game, and it's just perfect. Anyways, I just needed to bring this up because every time I talk about like, oh, I'm on level 1,390 of the Legends puzzles, and I'm on 6,000 whatever of the main story, my fiance Faith just shakes her head and goes, "You play this game way too damn much." But then I'll look over and she's playing Homescape. So it's all right. We both have that problem. Not that we ignore each other at all. It's just if there's a moment, we want to make some progress. Okay. This cannot be exclusive to me, but I have this problem where, and I realize it's getting worse, where I'm scrolling through TikTok and I go, oh, here's a clip of a movie or a TV show. I'll watch it. And I go, that's interesting. I want to watch that show or that movie. It's like, oh, that recipe looks really good. Let me just go ahead and bookmark it. And then you're like, oh, this is a really cool podcast. Or like, this gives me an idea for a really cool podcast episode. Let me come back to it. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I bookmark it. And then I never come back. And I am never going to come back to it. That's the problem. I have about 4,000 bookmarked posts on TikTok of recipes, TV shows and movies, and some podcast inspirations. And I have a problem where I'm never going to open them again and look at them and take that inspiration. And I keep wanting to sit down and like, oh, I'm going to sit down and get through that whole list and copy down all the ideas, blah, 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 blah. No, I just need to admit to myself that's never going to happen. The amount of work it would be to take the inspiration from that 3,000, the exact number is 3,770 posts. The amount of energy that would take is time is ridiculous. And I can't do it at breaks at work because I work for a university in a state where TikTok is banned on campus. And so you can't access TikTok at work. So, someday, maybe, in an alternate universe, I'm going to be able to get through this nearly 4,000 bookmarked posts of ideas and stuff. Not that I need anything more than the 300 podcast episode ideas that I already have that I still need to execute on. But it's a dream. And I probably have way better ways to be spending my time anyways right now. But it's something that's forever on my to-do list. And I don't know. I need a way to go through this and go, okay, am I really going to do this or not? But I don't have a way of doing that. So, I don't know. Anyways, I just need to bring it up because it's been bugging me this week. And that's what Saturday Morning Coffee is all about. Is just sharing whatever's been on my mind all week. And speaking of recipes, shout out to Gramps. I had him on the podcast a few while ago. It was the Beavers and Brews episode. He in his garden, he had a crap ton of vegetables, and Faith's mom drove up here this weekend, and she brought us his vegetables. For us to use. And so now I'm looking at all these vegetables and I need to think of some really good recipes to use these up because they're fresh vegetables, and I'm really excited about that because I'm also working on putting out some cooking videos for YouTube as a side thing, and for Alcove. The problem is I don't know how to do cooking videos. And so I know the first handful are going to suck, and I don't know if like an iPhone is good enough, or the newest Samsung Galaxy, which is what I have, is that good enough? Do I need to get an actual camera for recording? If it's that, then I don't want to do that. It's so expensive. So I guess like a lot of people do GoPros, I think is what people are doing. I don't know 100%. I need to do more research on how to do like these cooking videos. Because I just need, what's holding me back is this camera thing. That's really the only thing that holds me back. But I just need to get over that and just accept that the first handful are going to be rough, and that's okay. Lord knows I've seen plenty of rough cooking videos, rough film on TikTok, so maybe I can get away with it on YouTube too. I don't know. But it's something that I have always wanted to do. Well, I say always. I have wanted to do it for 4 years. For about 4 years, I wanted to do cooking videos. So I just need to get over the camera thing and just do it. Okay, so audio time this week has been mostly on listening to an audiobook of A Time to Kill, which is one of the summer reading books. And I have the physical copy, but when I'm at work, I can listen to the audio of it, so I'm able to make progress much quicker. And so I listen to it at work and then read it at home. And so I'm not getting through as much podcasts. I did get all the way through all my entertainment ones, and I did listen to a handful of like ones to learn stuff from. And so 2 of those that I wanted to share, harken back to relevant things on this podcast. The first one is I did an episode on the pathways to immortality, which is stupid shit that I screenshotted in my life. And it's just 7 infographics on potential ways for the human race to become immortal. And NPR actually last month released an episode on a guy who fed a bunch of stories from throughout his life to an AI to make a super advanced chat wife for his wife after he dies from cancer. And the company behind it is kind of like hearkening it towards like, immortalizing someone through the use of AI. And that's kind of, in a very thin way, a version of one of the infographics about immortality. And so I thought it was really interesting and a good timely tie-in. And so I'm going to go ahead and link it in the show notes for this episode. But I did think it was interesting. I would just be concerned about what happens when that AI, like, is the learning session for that AI then just closed off and it's not going to change its, quote unquote personality after the person, has passed away and their wife or kids are speaking to it all the time. I'd be worried about it changing from who it's supposed to be, and then they end up just speaking to like this this AI chatbot that's no longer actually like supposed to represent their father or their mother or whatever. So it's an interesting company idea. I would say just make your own opinions of it. But it's a short podcast episode, so I recommend checking it out. The other one is Coping with Dread. I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the podcast about how during science stuff, like especially in 7th grade, that's when existential dread really started in my life. Thinking about how there's going to be 2 supermassive black holes that collide with each other and we're all going to die. that's where my lifelong existential dread came from. 7th grade science class. So there was a really cool episode I found on coping with dread. I don't know how much I loved it, but I thought I'd share the 5 methods here. First one is like write it down, whatever's causing you dread. Second is to draw it. Third is accept what's inevitable. 4 is schedule worry time. And 5 is be present in the moment. All shocker advice, I'm sure. But all interesting advice that might have some value. I'll also link that episode in the show notes. And hopefully, if you listen to it, you like it. But I listened to a few other ones, but these are the 2 that I wanted to share on this episode. So, yeah. If you are on the Patreon, feel free to share whatever interesting podcasts that you listen to this week. I'm always looking for new shows to listen to. So that's it for Saturday Morning Coffee. I am out of topics and out of coffee. Thank you so much for joining me.